We also don't have these people saying in their own words that I saw Jesus appear. We literally, uh, even if we took First and Second Peter as written by the Apostle Peter, which I do not believe, but even if we did, nowhere in those two books does Peter say, "I saw a resurrected Jesus." That's just not in there. And then for the
Okay,
other,
can you hold on that second? Take a pause there.
Yep, you got it.
We've got, I believe it's 9 accounts that speak or imply that Caesar crossed the Rubicon. In none of those accounts, those ancient accounts, does anyone come out and say they saw Caesar cross the Rubicon. Caesar, in his commentary on the Civil War, doesn't even mention crossing the Rubicon. So Caesar himself doesn't mention it. Okay, so the fact that you don't have these eyewitnesses writing something and directly testifying that they saw the risen Jesus. I mean, you got Paul, he does, but the fact that you don't have some of these saying directly, I saw the risen Jesus. I mean, we'd like to have it, but that's not at all a deal breaker, not in the least.
one, James, son of Zebedee, similarly in the book of James, it doesn't say, "I saw Jesus." So, this argument that people try and put forth of, we solidly have these apostles who were eyewitnesses, and this is why they died. That argument just falls apart historically so quickly. It's terrible. So this is actually why modern apologists have shifted it back to say the apostles were willing to die. If you listen to any of the big ones, they all shifted back. They were willing to die. So obviously they were wandering around knowing they could have been hurt. But that's not a very good example. Like, there's a lot of criminals who wander around and they know that there's a chance they're going to get caught, but that doesn't mean they don't go around stealing things or murdering people. Everyone knows there's a chance there's going to be consequences, but we still take that risk. So
Dr. Mike Licona, I see that face, man. What you got, man?
Well, first, he said the letter of James was written by James, the son of Zebedee. I don't know any scholars who say that it's attributed to James, the brother of Jesus. Now, they can question whether James actually wrote it. A lot of scholars say they don't think he did. A number of them think he did. I think he did, but it's James, brother of Jesus, not James, the son of Zebedee. Then he's doing it, saying murderers, they do what they're doing and know they could get caught. The difference is that the disciples are going around proclaiming Jesus, his resurrection, and Jesus' teachings. Teachings like, let your yes be yes and your no be no. In other words, don't lie. Don't be true to your word. Treat people the way you want for them to treat you. For this is the law of the prophets. Both of those in the Sermon on the Mount. They're proclaiming that you should be honest and do right to people. And so why are you going to go out and base this on something you know to be a lie? And murderers are doing this in secret so that they won't get caught. The disciples are out there proclaiming publicly about these things. There's a big difference between murderers and Jesus' disciples.